financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is disability and death. Dun, 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 dun. On that note, I notice you're wearing a tie, Brian.
Yeah. Good morning, sunshine.
It looks like you're probably going to a funeral.
I actually, unfortunately, am headed to a funeral.
I know when Brian Small is wearing a funeral, it's not a good sign for somebody's family.
Yep. Unfortunately, that is the true statement. But, you're just
All we're doing is good morning.
a ray of sunshine with that welcome.
Good morning, Jeff Linden.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff Kirschner.
I'm happy to see Brian, tie or no tie. It always warms my heart. Good morning.
Well, I'm always trying to come up with the topic and what do we want to cover. And I said, well, it would be a good time to talk about disability. And I wanted to also bring in estate planning issues. But I didn't think disability and estate planning just didn't ring the bell for me. So I decided to just go with disability and death as a topic.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
I mean, you start off with the very basic premise that none of us are getting out of this alive.
It's just a
Father Time is undefeated.
It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when.
That's
and
correct.
what you do between the start and the finish is what you make of yourself.
Wow, you're becoming more and more profound with each and every show. Your favorite line is, it's individual to
The individual.
individual. And now, what was the last line? You don't remember.
I don't remember because as I
Father
age,
Time always
because Father
wins.
Time always wins. Yeah.
There you go. All right, let's talk about disability.
Okay.
Update. What's new in the disability world? You're our disability expert.
I am.
Any news? Any news?
Well, I think the hearings themselves are going fine. Still everything post-COVID, almost every hearing is still mainly telephone conference, which makes life actually easier for most people. I think that I have done 6 or 7 in-person hearings post-COVID, which is
Wow.
amazing because we used to do all of them in person.
And COVID is a long time ago already.
It
Correct.
is 6 years ago.
So
that
the
it
one,
started,
the
yeah.
one thing, and you hear about it, is what's going on in the field offices. The field offices are where the initial applications go, as well as the reconsiderations go, as well as individuals go to talk to somebody about, hey, what's going on with my claim or my money or things of that nature. That right now, because of the Doge cuts and everything else that's been going on in the government, that's been the most impacted right now with regard to Social Security.
Slow process.
Everything is slow. They have less people working. There are a lot of people that when Doge came in to reduce the budget and get rid of people, they took these early retirements and they broomed out some other people as well. And so each office is struggling to maintain sanity. And by the way, we have an aging population. And when you have an aging population,
More
inevitably
customers.
more customers, whether it be disability or just regular retirement.
Do you see that volume? Because you're probably too young to be a baby boomer.
I am not a baby boomer.
Okay, I'm a boomer. Okay, so but you've seen the age during the years of your practice. Have you seen the number of retirees increase? We know that it's happened.
Sure.
Can you feel it in your practice as well?
Well, my practice is different. So I've been doing this for 30 plus years, but I do see more people becoming
'cause you're
disabled
more
from a
on
lot
the
of different
disabled
things. As much as medicine is great, there's all other kinds of ailments and issues coming on, certainly psychological. Yeah. You start seeing with an older population, both psychological, you see a lot more neurologic problems. I'm seeing a lot more.
Do you
of those
think
as
that
well.
it's actually the same number of people. It's just that there's been a shift
In terms of becoming disabled?
the same number of people being disabled, but there's a shift because more people are applying for Social Security disability. Before, maybe it just was like something that nobody wanted to do. It wasn't as accepted of a process.
Well, I think a couple things. I think that's a good point. I think it is becoming more accessible when people are realizing that there's attorneys like myself out there willing to help and make the process much easier. But I truly think that the main issue is an aging population. Just people are getting sicker, people are having bad things happen to them, and that volume of people is going up, so inevitably
it's a
you're
more
having
stressful
claims.
life.
Yes.
So I think the chances of having a disability pre-retirement age is greater now than it probably was 20 years ago, with all the stresses of the life that we live in.
The reason I asked it like that is because we were having a discussion the other day, a little off topic, about allergies, okay? And how people die from peanut allergies today. When we were kids, nobody died. Everybody ate peanut butter and jelly at school. Where did this happen? Did we just not know about it? And so what I'm saying is it becoming more accepted?
That's a ChatGPT question.
Well, that's actually more of a Robert Kennedy question with regard to what you're putting in your bodies and the type of food and the processed food you're eating. That's part of it too.
So
So
it just was a thought that we were
I
discussing.
have a question.
Yeah.
Like an EEOC claims, there's where you go to the government and you apply claiming employment-based discrimination. There's a mediation process that it's voluntary, but you're strongly encouraged to go through it, both the employer and the employee. Is there any kind of, you've never mentioned any mediation process handling disability claims. Has it ever been discussed? Is it something that comes out there and is discussed and considered, or has it just never been on the table when it comes to disability?
Well, there's a reason why we've never discussed it, because it doesn't exist.
And
It doesn't exist.
Did they ever talk about it as doing it?
Never.
I've never even heard of it.
Never, which wouldn't be such a bad solution sometimes to take
To
a look
move
at some of
cases
these
faster.
cases. Well, more people help process cases faster, but when you reduce the staff and you've increased people applying for benefits, and oh, by the way, these cases are getting more complicated because the volume of medical records that I've noticed too, what people have is astronomical, the amount of pages of medical records that each case
Oh, I can
has.
only imagine.
So
Yeah, 'cause
that's causing. So you apply for benefits. That's the initial application.
And then after that, we'll
If
come
you-
back and we'll ask you after the break.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Okay, Lisa, we have one last question for you. How old should your grandkids be before they can take the money and spend it on their own?
Thanks, Grandma. Thanks, and I'm getting mine next week.
35.
You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Samasco Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Samasco Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up?
Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. So you said right before you make your application, which is a perfect time to go with what I kind of wanted to do. Walk us through the process.
Sure. So in order to start a claim, you have to apply for benefits. And most
Well, even before that, when should I call? If I think I'm disabled, when do I call Kirschner?
right away, if you think that you aren't going to be able to work or you stop working, call me right away.
I don't
so
have
we
to
can
wait to
discuss
call
it.
you.
You shouldn't wait at all. We should start right away. If that's something in your mind, if that's even a possibility, we should have that conversation. I can kind of walk you through it and figure out whether it's appropriate or when it's appropriate, because it's not appropriate for every time, because it's individual to the individual, Brian. But you should call me if you're
Whoever
having
came up with
problems.
that expression and that statement is brilliant.
Genius. But you should call me right away. Even if you're still working and you see that the train coming on is about to hit you,
Did you ever, have you seen the movie Air Jordan movie?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Air. That's a great
Where
movie.
the agent came up with the name Air Jordan, but they denied it and said that the guy who developed the shoe came up with it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for my shoes, sir.
That guy was genius. The guy who came up with this individual to the individual, he's just a lawyer
Anyway, so back to the
who's
process.
wearing a tie today.
Right.
Okay.
So eventually we're going to apply for benefits. Social Security for people who are unable to work for 12 months or longer, but you don't have to be off for 12 months before you apply. Usually, I look at the 5 to 6 month mark to apply. Because that gives you the best
So
opportunity
you get
to
the
apply.
application in.
Right.
And then what happens?
That's typically online. It's cumbersome. I do it for my clients and all. Then you have to wait.
How long?
Depends.
Approximately.
Could be 4 months, could
How,
be 8 months.
how do you get notified?
Social Security eventually tells you. Now, while I'm
How do
handling
they-
a claim,
they-
I can figure out
Do they
sort of what's
email
going
you?
on in the
Do
process.
they call you? How do you find out?
Well, people themselves have it on their portal, so everyone can subscribe to their own portal. But then you eventually get a letter from Social Security telling you yay or nay.
So this isn't one of those scenarios where you submit the application and then you start the next week going on the portal to see if you got approved yet.
No, it
There's
takes
no
a while.
point
Because there's a
waiting.
process. You give them a lot of information. They'll even ask you for more information, even though you've already given them that information. But they have to then go through and get your medical records. They got to review your medical records. And oh, by the way, you know, it's one of those things, FIFO, first in, first out. Well, there's other people that before you have applied, and so it's a process.
What's the average time? Is there an average time?
I would say for the initial application, I would say the average time is about 6 to 8 months to get a response.
So you get 6 to 8 months, and you've told us this before, so I'm going to guess.
Sure.
Then more likely than not,
You're going to get denied.
denied.
And so you get the love letter.
So if you're already representing the client and helping them, they expect to get denied. You've kind of
Well, I don't think because I'm representative, they expect to get denied.
But you
because they've applied.
They have an understanding that
You've let
that's
them
the
know that
process
that's-
is likely
yes,
to
that's
happen.
the likely outcome.
I explained it all to them, exactly.
I mean, there are always some people that just get approved.
Right. But then you go to the next stage, which is the reconsideration. You get a letter, you have 60 days to file what's called a request for reconsideration.
So they
get more evidence, they look back at that. At that phase,
that's an important role for you, I assume.
correct. And people kind of forget this. People think you get denied, you just let it die on the vine, and then you
Worst thing
apply.
to do.
So that's the absolute
Because
worst
then you're
thing to
starting
do.
all over.
Correct, and there's rules behind it. If it's a Social Security disability claim, you can only recapture a maximum of up to 1 year of benefits prior to the date that you file your
So
initial
you're throwing
application.
money away.
So if you let that one die on the vine and then 6 months later you start a whole new application,
Hey,
you're
and
back.
then 6 to 8 months
And-
before you get an
Right.
answer.
And for supplemental security income, the rule is you're only eligible for benefits starting the date you file your application going forward. They aren't retroactive, so if you play that game where you get denied and you let it die on the vine, months later you apply again, well then you've screwed yourself over that period
But
of time.
isn't
Either
it-
way,
isn't
you're
also
potentially
the-
losing a year's worth of compensation by doing it
At
the
least.
wrong
Isn't
way.
it
For
even
sure.
worse than that? Because don't you have to have worked 20 of the previous 40 quarters and before
Oh, you could then
from the
become
date?
ineligible
So
'cause
if you
you're-
apply and you're within the 20 of the previous 40 and you let it get dismissed,
That's from your disability onset date. That's
Right.
what that plays into. But yes, that creates a problem as well.
so but when do they determine your disability onset date?
That's the number that
So
Social
that can
Security
still be an earlier
correct.
date. You
It
just
still
don't
could be
get
that
the
earlier date,
benefits.
but yes, that could be a problem too applying. But so now you apply for this reconsideration, which is I wouldn't say it's worthless, but statistically about 11% of people get approved at this intermediary stage.
Well,
All
what
right, so-
percentage get approved on the first go round?
I would say 30-35%.
So 30 to 35% get approved.
Now
the
11% on the reconsideration,
reconsideration
then what?
is 11%.
And then if you get denied again, you then file what's called a request for hearing, where eventually you have an administrative law judge and you have a hearing.
And that's where you really dig in.
Correct. I mean, I'm always digging in to
Right.
my clients because I'm getting records, I'm staying on top of things, I'm making certain things are filed, which is what's important to have a representative be with you and walk you through everything. But yes, and then the hearing stage is really where you need somebody
From
because,
filing for hearing to hearing date,
yes,
how long?
they've done a really, I'll give Social Security credit over the time. It used to take up to 2 years. Now it's only taking, I would say, about 7 to 8 months. From
That's
when you ask for a
remarkable.
hearing to get a hearing. It's
So
really-
we're
You
at
have your hearing.
we're at 6 to 8 months
Average.
from the original application till the letter
First
of
denial.
approval or denial.
right.
2 months.
Reconsideration.
Then
For
I would say
reconsideration.
another 4 to 6 months for this intermediary phase.
So 6,
you're at a
10
year.
to
And then another 8 months. So yeah, it's an 18-month process if you're
Once you have the hearing,
yes.
do you get the result at the hearing, or do you have to wait for the result?
Rarely. Once in a while, if you've got a really strong case and you have the right judge and they're in the right mood, they'll let you know that yes, you've won. But most times they say, "Have a nice day. We'll get our decision out." It usually takes ballpark 30 to 60 days on average from when you conclude your hearing to
That's
when you
the
get the
time that
decision
you
from
go to the
judge.
portal every day to see the result.
So how long from
Well,
when
I would
So I can, though, as an attorney, I have access to your file. I look at it religiously several times a day. I can see my cases when the hearing has been issued. Before we even get it mailed, I'll see it online.
You'll see
So
it
how
online.
long from the date
Let's
you
take a
win?
break, and then Jeff can ask that question.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
Time for announcements. I want to announce Thav Gross has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon Building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirschner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross, Simasko Law, Kirschner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
For almost 60 years, Simasko Law has been the trusted source for helping families navigate the uncertain world of estate planning and elder law. And now, our firm is growing even stronger with the addition of attorneys Joe Frazard and Kelsey Simasko. 2 more lawyers to make sure your family is protected now and into the future. Call Simasko Law today for a free consultation. Our hardworking team is standing by to provide you peace of mind. Simasko Law, protect what matters.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Jeff, unpause.
To when you get the money. No. So from the date you win, you're told that you win the case at
Right.
the hearing. How long till your client gets paid?
So once you get the actual formal decision, the decision can be up to 60 days to become final. Usually it takes less if you've won your case. I would say you would get money on average probably 30 to 60 days from
After the decision.
Sometimes longer. Sometimes they're looking at certain things. Sometimes there's hiccups, and that's also where I come in post-hearing, dealing with Social Security, doing things of that nature. But ideally, 30 to 60 days from the formal decision.
Wait. What happens? So you get approved, great.
Yeah.
What happens if you get denied? Is there an appellate process at this point?
Yes. So if you get denied, you have up to 60 days from the day of the decision to file an appeal with the Appeals Council, which I routinely do as well. And then that appeal takes a ballpark about a year now for that appeal, and they're looking to see whether or not the judge made any error of fact or law, whether they made any error of law, meaning that they interpreted the law incorrectly, error of fact, if they totally screwed up with regard to the medical records.
Seems like it
and
would
things of
usually
that
be a
nature.
factual determination.
It's more of an error of fact than an error of law.
So
that
a
the judge
clearly
should-
erroneous standard on factual determination.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult appeal then.
It's from a legal standpoint. From a factual standpoint, it's a little bit easier because of other elements that they may have misinterpreted the vocational expert, things of that nature.
So by percentage, from start to finish, what's the average? What's the percentage of cases that get approved?
Or is that a hard
Or is
question?
that-
Because
yeah.
you don't take cases that are
A couple things.
that have no chance of getting approved typically. I would
Correct.
assume.
But I'm different from other attorneys, and I will
The
take
marginal case?
I'll take much more challenging cases in younger people, and that's kind of how I differentiate myself. And I do everything. There are attorneys out there that won't do the initial application at all, won't even do the reconsideration. I start from the beginning. I walk them through it. I stay with them all the time, and I write briefs for every one of my hearings. So I'm a little bit different from
All right,
others
so
in that
If you
regard.
remember the topic at the beginning of the show, it was going to be disability and death. And what I've decided, it seems as though we've spent so much time on disability at this point, and we haven't died in the course of doing the show, we're going to hold off on death. And instead, I just want to I'm going to give one little shot back to Brian, in that you don't get that money until almost 2 years, right?
Potentially, yeah.
So what do? You don't have income if you're disabled during this 2-year period. You've ramped up your credit cards to the max to live. You're just hanging on to the house, and now you're going to get a relatively big check now that you're approved because of that waiting period. You still got probably a 12-month plus 16-month check coming, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can get quite a bit of.
How do you deal with bankruptcy in that and getting rid of all this credit card debt? Do you file the bankruptcy before you get the check, or do you get the check?
Oh no, you file the bankruptcy before you get the check or after the money's been spent. Those are the two options, because we can protect the award that you are going to be entitled to that you have not yet received.
So that's got to be like almost, I would think that virtually everyone, not everyone, but a vast high percentage of the people that are seeking and finally obtain successfully a disability award, they've got to have serious debt problems. Even if they didn't have them before they became disabled, becoming disabled is going to cause that.
And there's a reason. And there's a reason why we are all friends, because I have cases like that. And just the other day, I had somebody that I'm going to be successful on a case. I know I'm going to be successful. Needed bankruptcy. I had her call Brian.
Yep.
So that's not just hypothetical. Those things do
and
happen.
most of the individuals who are going to be successful actually still do qualify for bankruptcy. And sometimes we can do the bankruptcy later. There's strategy to doing it later too. But the key is you have to do it later if you call me after you get the check. You can do it earlier if you call me before you get the check.
Yeah, if you do it after if you get the check, then you've got to go through the money before you get rid of the debt, which you can still do. It just
And they do, and it does go. It's just, but then it's a matter of how do we protect that money.
You don't want to rush getting rid of the money. You want that money to use to
last.
The last thing you want to do is you don't want to take that money and pay down the credit cards.
But you'd be surprised at the number of people that do.
Okay,
and they forget that that's it.
Pressure.
There's no more money coming in. There's a lump sum, and then they have to learn to live on the disability income, which is still a limited amount of money by comparison to what you were earning before.
It's the same thing that happens when the spouse dies. The widow gets the insurance check, and all of a sudden there's a check of $500,000 there, and the spouse has $100,000 of credit cards, of which the widow was not responsible on them. The widow wants to write the $100,000 and pay off the credit cards. Mm-hmm. What do? We scream. We grab the pen and we break it. We don't let her do that, or we don't let him do that. Thank you, Jeff. Everybody have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.